I feel the
No,
need.
no, no, wrong movie.
Feel the rhythm. Feel the
No, no,
ride.
wrong movie. Wrong movie.
You're you're gonna need a bigger boat.
No, wrong movie.
Obi-Wan never
No,
told you about you.
no, wrong movie.
This movie doesn't have a catchphrase.
Welcome everybody back to the Retro Review. I am the Bearded Geek. Joining me as always is Steve.
Hey, hey,
Yep,
hey,
they're not here. They're not
hey.
here. Mikey the Freak and Bebo are absent this week. They
Are having
couldn't.
dinner.
Yep, they could not make it. They could not make it, but we are going to review anyway the movie Days of Thunder, a classic Tom Cruise movie. IMDb states that Cole Trickles enters the high pressure world of NASCAR racing. He's a hot driver with a hot temper, and this attitude gets him in trouble not only with other drivers, but members of his own team as well. That somewhat explains the
I
movie.
mean, you could kind of say that, but at the same time, the team members that he gets into it with, like, there's Robert Downey Jr., they squash out their shit, and then there's Carrie Ewells, and you could say that he's part of the team, but in reality, like, he's
Robert Downey Jr.?
no, Robert Duvall. Robert
Rob-
Duvall.
Robert Duvall, yeah.
Yeah,
Robert
yeah, yeah.
Duvall
Him too.
and
Him
Carrie
too.
Elways, who was doing a horrible Southern accent in this movie. It was really bad. But this movie has a great cast. It has Tom Cruise, Robert Duvall, Carrie
Sure,
Elways.
sure.
Um,
Philip
oh
Seymour
God,
Hoffman. No, no,
Philip
no. Wow,
Seymour.
I just said
No,
the wrong one. It's
yeah,
John C. Riley.
John C. Riley,
Cal
and
Norton Jr. Cal Norton Jr. That's him. And Nicole
right,
Kidman.
and
We can keep
yeah.
going. We can
Oh
keep
yeah,
going. There's
the other main guy. I cannot his
Yondu. Yondu.
yeah
Yondu.
Yondu. I can't remember
Michael
his name right
Rucker.
now. There you
Michael Rucker.
go, Michael Rucker. Look,
I know all their names. I know all their names. I can just call
I'm
them by their
horrible
nicknames
with
all
names.
day long.
Horrible with names. But basically, Cole Trickle joins NASCAR. He's a hotshot rookie. He's ends up getting in a wreck with Michael Rucker's
Michael Rucker.
character, and Rucker is injured. He can't race no more. Cole actually gets better as they're injured. A new hot shot comes in, played by Carrie Elways, and he's the biggest thing in NASCAR at this point. And Cole, when he gets back in his car, he's scared to race because he got in a wreck.
I'm sorry. The more and more I think about this, the more and more I think about how Talladega Nights
It's
really is just a parody of Days of
it
Thunder.
really is. I mean, John C. Riley, and especially, I mean, as soon as you see him, you kind of want to go shake and bite. Even though this movie
Help
came
me,
out,
Oprah.
yeah,
Oh my
even
God,
though
he
this
even says,
movie
"Help me,
came out,
Tom Cruise." He even says, "Help me, Tom Cruise." Oh my God, that is
see,
hilarious.
you see,
Oh my
not you,
God.
you get
Sorry,
it.
let's get back to Days of Thunder. Let's get back. We're
Yes,
not talking about Talladega Nights. That's
we
going to
are
be the
talking
next
about Days of
episode.
Thunder,
We're
correct?
talking about Days of Thunder.
Basically, Cole Trickle, Tom Cruise's character, has to get over being in a wreck. He's scared to be in the car.
Sure.
But as soon as he goes through his first wreck safely, it feels like he's cured. It was all in his mind, so he ends up winning Daytona. So that's basically this movie in a nutshell. It's a NASCAR movie. It's if you've seen Talladega Nights, you've seen Days of Thunder, basically. So
Yeah,
it's
it's just much more serious.
right. It is more serious of a movie than Talladega Nights, but this is a movie that I really like Tom Cruise in. I love the NES video game from Days of Thunder. Yeah, there was an NES video game for Days of Thunder. I really enjoyed playing it.
I bet you
Uh,
did.
yeah, it was.
I
I
tried
enjoyed
playing the
this.
Top Gun. I tried playing the Top Gun NES game. I was no good at that.
I was no good at it. Landing those things on air carriers were hard. But
Hard.
anyway, Steve, I do believe
Yeah.
this was your first time ever seeing Days of
It
Thunder.
it was
Uh,
it was indeed my first time watching this film.
why don't you give us your thoughts on this film?
It was a very interesting flick. Knowing when it was made, what the 80s, the late 80s, dealing with
Well,
real life situations of people actually dying in these races. Like 20 years later,
mm-hmm,
Dale Earnhardt would pass away. I'd
mm-hmm,
say that's probably the biggest wreck that's going to be known for NASCAR.
correct.
Um, but it's just a very interesting film with the things they say. Just like there are two places you'll never catch a racer: a doctor and a funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and you could say that you can say that about a lot of professions, about a lot of groups. But this was just an entertaining film for what it was, for when it was from, everything about it. Is this a movie that I'm gonna go out and watch again? Probably not. Like, I don't see myself watching it again, but am I happy that I watched it? Sure. It's like Top Gun. I think you can watch this movie once and then you're good pretty much ever having to watch it again. You know enough that you can have conversations with people and be like, yeah, I watched it. It's a movie. They made it.
No, I get it. I get it. I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into ratings. To me, I remember this movie being one of those movies that I wouldn't actually seek out, but like I would like to sit and watch. So when it was on TV or whatever, I would watch it, even though I'm not a NASCAR fan because NASCAR to me is not a sport. It's just people driving in circles. That's to me, that's all
They're
NASCAR
turning
is.
left.
Yeah,
They're
it's not a
turning
sport.
left again.
It's not a sport, but I enjoy the competition aspect of NASCAR. It's a competition, not a sport. Um, I give this an 8. I'm gonna give it a solid 8. It was one of those movies that holds your attention pretty much throughout the whole thing. It does have intensity at some points. It has its love thing with Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise as a side boob. So it's a good solid 8 for me. It was shot well. How about you, Steve?
Solid 7.
7?
Yeah,
I got
it
you.
was entertaining for the time, the actors. This if I had seen this, if I had actually sat down and watched this movie. What year was this movie released? 80.
I think no, it was 90s,
Oh,
early
90.
90s, early 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was born in 82. So this movie came out in like 92, 93. So I would have been like 10 or 11. Wasn't into NASCAR as a kid, so this movie had no real appeal to me
Hmm.
as a child, which is why I'm watching it for the first time as a 40-year-old. Um, and no, it was a solid 7. Lots of good actors. Uh, Typical love story, life lessons type thing. Fun and entertaining.
Yeah. I think some of the scenes that they show, like at the races, the same things you could see today. Like, I don't think a thing has changed. It's your typical good old boy
Yeah.
freaking sport. But I enjoyed the toys and stuff and video games, and I love the visuals more, I think, than the actual movie. Even though the
Okay.
movie was pretty good, I enjoyed the toys and stuff because I used to play with the toys a lot. Speaking of which, I do have some movie memorabilia. Like something such as this, the Days of Thunder Speedway set. And we can still see you. This is
I
not
know.
the
I know.
Periscope.
That's why I moved over.
This is the
Sorry.
1990 vintage Matchbox Days of Thunder Speedway set. You can pick yours up for about $200 with $20
With
shipping.
$20 shipping, GTFO.
Or you could get yourself your die-cast car, your Matchbox 1990 Days of Thunder Russ Wheeler car transporter for almost $300 with $10 shipping. Like I
That's
said,
still
these toys,
a little steep on.
yeah. And like I said, these toys of course, when they first came out, were not that expensive. But dude, these toys
Of
were
course.
amazing to play with back in the day, and so colorful with the Hardy's car and the mellow yellow and all that. Like the city cars, like Mikey the Freak, he had just about all of them, I believe, and we would play with the Hardys and city cars and the mellow yellow. We would play with these cars all day. It was a blast. But you could get yours.
I had little Matchbox cars. I don't know if I ever had any Days of Thunder Matchbox cars, but I definitely played with Matchbox cars when I
Yeah,
was a
you
kid.
could get your 9 vintage set today for $364.
I they'd sell me with the shipping on this. The shipping has just gone down
Yep,
20, 10 to 5.
yep, $5 ship.
Who doesn't love that? We just keep cutting it in. We're cutting it in half, folks, on everyone. Since Mikey's not here, I'm gonna do a little related reels. Here's
Oh,
my first
here we go.
related reel. We got Tom Cruise, the star of the film. He's going to be known for things as Legend.
Hmm.
It was one of the first earlier films he did. Tropic Thunder, a lot of movies
Hmm.
that people will watch. Unless you know it's Tom Cruise, you might actually miss it.
I love his
And
dancing at the end.
dancing at the end is great. And we're gonna say Austin Powers Gold Member, where he makes a brief cameo at the end of the movie.
Hmm.
We have our next one. We have Michael Rooker. Michael Rooker, who you're going to know from Guardians of the Galaxy Volumes 1 and 2. You're also going to briefly know him from James Gunn's The Suicide Squad
Hmm.
and the first season of The Walking
There we
Dead.
go.
You're gonna have Mr. John C. Riley. I switched the page. Sorry,
Hmm.
John C. Riley. You're gonna know him. He was great in the movie Chicago, where he gave you a little bit of singing.
Hmm.
You're gonna know him as the voice of Wreck-It Ralph, and one of my personal favorites, Step
I thought that was
Brothers.
Seth Rogen.
Wreck-It Ralph?
Yeah,
No, no, that is John C. Riley.
I think that's Seth Rogen.
That's not Seth Rogen. That's John C. Riley.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I mean, I, I mean, I only have like 2 other podcasts that I've done about movies. So you
Okay.
can go ahead and look it up right now if you want.
You
But
know
it's
what?
John C. Riley.
Live look
Wreck
up
It
right
Ralph.
now. Wreck it, Ralph.
It Ralph. John C. Riley. Not
Da, da,
Seth
da,
Rogen.
da, da. Okay, well, no, we'll get there. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and move on. Go ahead, sir.
Dab. And Step Brothers. Step Brothers is a great one that I love from
What?
Mr. John
Did we just
C.
become
Riley.
best friends?
Did you touch my drum set? No, I was watching Cops. I know that's not true. I'm not going to get into that. And those are just going to be 3 related reels. With my actual, though, pretty solid banger songs off of the sound for Days of Thunder. You're going to have Hearts in Trouble by Chicago. You're going to have Breaking
Nice.
Through the Barrier by Tina Turner. Trials of Broken Hearts by Cher. You Gotta Love Someone by Elton John. Like, Knocking on Heaven's Door doesn't say who it's by. What's not what?
It is a great soundtrack for sure.
And Long Live the Night by Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Those are
Awesome.
just like 5 of the solid 10 tracks that they have off of the Days of Thunder soundtrack.
Awesome.
And I
Awesome.
have no fun facts. I'm not going to do all 3 jobs.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no. That's fine. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. So as we come to a close, Steve, where can people find you on your podcasts?
You can find me. It's just the this week at the box office isn't around anymore, so you can't really count that one. You can find me on Layeth the Mod Down, which releases every week, where Bearded Geek and I talk about professional wrestling on a weekly basis with the WWE and AEW. And you can find me on my podcast, The Last Podcast You'd Want, which is available on every major podcast outlet and on YouTube. Please subscribe, please, and thank you. Tip the veal, try the staff, and thank you all for coming. If you didn't, better luck next time.
Well, as we come to a close, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you do all the YouTuber things. Give us a good old thumb and hit that like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you are listening with your ears, go find us on YouTube as well. We are live on YouTube plenty. So that does it for this episode of Back to the Retro Review. So for Steve, I am the Bearded Geek saying, keep it retro, everybody.